Tatiana.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to join this, our second Jamaica VMUG meeting for the year. We're aiming to complete 4 of these for the rest of the year, so stay tuned. My name is Roosevelt Wilmot, and I'm the current leader of Jamaica VMUG. Now, before I move on, I just want to encourage you guys to, if you're not already a VMUG member, to join as soon as possible. There are numerous amounts of benefits that you can get by becoming a member, so join as soon as possible. And don't tell them I told you this, but you can get free software. All right, so, and more importantly, I also want you guys to join VMUG Jamaica. Now, the objective of VMUG Jamaica is for us to learn from each other, share the technology that we're using so that we can all benefit from it. The Jamaica VMUG team is working closely with VMware, Dell, and other vendors to bring us specialists, expert technologists to come and share with us or showcase their technologies that they're using so that we can incorporate it into our businesses to maximize our processes or reduce the risk or benefit from it in some way. So you don't want to miss out on that. Join as soon as possible so that you can be notified in advance of those events. Now, I will move over to my co-leader who will introduce herself and tell us the plans for the rest of the evening. Rudy?
Hi, all right, good evening, everyone. I am Rudi-Ann, the co-leader for the Jamaica VMUG community. So thanks for taking the time to come out and join us today. The plan for today is to just have a little chit chat, have some conversations with the VMware team who are online with us today, get into the presentation with Jose, and then if you stick around long enough, we may have some prizes and surprises for you. So that's the plan for today. So Tatiana.
Thank you, Rudy, and hello, VMUG Jamaica IT community. I'm extremely excited to be able to join you today to introduce our VMware team. We're here to assist with your success with VMware. My name is Tatiana Montenegro, and I work alongside the group of rock stars that you see mentioned on this slide. Starting with my sales counterpart, Gerson Ferreira, we're here to support you with the entire VMware portfolio. And we work alongside our specialists mentioned on this slide. And for those of you wondering, my mentor, Waldir Montoya, who you may have worked with in the past, is now covering Spanish-speaking Caribbean territory. So today, you'll hear from Marta Hernandez, who's our specialist on VCF, short for VMware Cloud Foundation. So should you have any questions or want to connect after anything that you see today, we're happy to continue the conversation, so don't hesitate to reach out to us. And next slide. So I want to bring to your attention 2 action items I want you to take after the event. First and foremost, sign up to VMworld 2021, where your peers from around the globe will join together over the next 2 days to imagine a world where you have the flexibility to welcome any change and take advantage of its opportunities. As applications and data move from the data center out to the edge of the network with the emergence of 5G networks, which provide ultra-high bandwidth and ultra-low latency, a new era of applications such as telehealth, AR, VR, autonomous driving, smart manufacturing, and more will proliferate to create an entire new era in computing, where compute, storage, and security will operate in a distributed architecture. VMware's unique multi-cloud strategy provides a consistent infrastructure and allows for you to place workloads in the best position for high performance and low latency wherever they reside. From empowering unlimited 5G service innovation in a multi-cloud world to edge computing, which is the next evolution from cloud for enterprises. So don't miss out and learn more about our strategy by registering to attend VMworld today. I'll send the links on the chat for you to be able to do that. But it's happening next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, so you have to take action today. And lastly, I do want to share also a link for you to sign up for our Caribbean technical newsletter, where we make sure to bring sort of a summarized version of what we have going on at VMware, and I usually work on those once a month. But thanks again, enjoy the event, and thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you very much for that, Tatiana. And guys, if you have never attended VMworld, that's an event that you want to attend. It's normally packed with exciting technologies. And so please join up for the newsletter as well to get a feeling of what is going on in the Caribbean. Now for the main event, the reason why we're all here. This person, our keynote speaker, needs no introduction to the Caribbean community. However, for the 2 or 3 persons who may be on this call that needs the introduction, I will introduce him. Our keynote speaker for today is Jose Felix Coronado. Now, Jose is currently an advisory systems engineer working at Dell Technologies, covering Central America and the Caribbean region. He architects solutions for customers in the data center, including storage, virtualization, cloud, and cloud-native platforms. He's a VMware expert with diverse certifications, too numerous to mention all of them here, but I'll just mention a few. He has certifications like VCP, DCV, VCP, NV. He's a VMware Cloud Native Master Specialist. He's a certified Kubernetes administrator, a Dell EMC certified expert cloud architect, and technical architect. He's also a blogger. He's a community leader of Panama VMUG, and I encourage you to check out that community as well. And he's a leader of Cloud Curators. Let's welcome Jose as he takes us through the main presentation for the evening, VMware Cloud Foundation. Over to you, Jose.
Thank you, Roosevelt. I guess I need to share my screen now. Welcome. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending the time to be able to learn a little more. Right. The idea of this evening presentation at the end is that everybody learns a little more about how with VMware technology we can really accelerate the cloud adoption. Right. Together with me. Marta Hernandez, that she's the like was introduced before. She will be joining me for this presentation as well, right? So, with nothing more, let's start, right? The main challenge that we are facing, right, and that's something that should be familiar for all of us at this point, right? Every single organization, the slides speak about advanced organization, but I will really say that any organization or any site is looking at the cloud as a strategy or as a technology to be able to really advance and get business outcomes, right? All of organizations are trying to do more with less, being able to explode the digital economies that are getting every time more important, right? So to be able to survive in this new world, you need to be faster to market. You need to be able to quickly adapt to the changes. COVID-19 being one of those unpredictable things that happen, right? So all the companies had to rush to be able to adapt, right? The companies are looking always to be more effective in costing, right? To reduce the TCO, and security always is something that need to be considered, right? The security is we are living now in on a world that if I'm not secure enough, actually that will affect my ability to work, and with ransomware that attack the companies, ask us for the companies for money, right? So to be able to get back their information, their operations, right? Something that we need to really be very careful and be able to consider holistically in our technology and our operations as well, right? So all the companies are trying to do this, right? Something that also companies have already learned is that not everything fit on a specific cloud, right? I have some things that I have on premise on my data center. I have some things that may run on one or different clouds, right? But this true hybrid cloud is something that companies are looking at, but most of the time they are not successful at doing that, right? And why is that? Because the first approach that we look is the cloud, the way some companies or some we don't do a proper planning, is getting like the new silos, right? We get starting with my infrastructure of premise, right? A lot of companies are still working all the different kind of technologies on premise, like silo. I have my compute as a group of people that manage compute or virtualization. I have the storage in another part, the networking piece and security, right? So if I try to connect that with different clouds, at the end, what I'm gonna have is a very fragmented scenario, right? In this stitch infrastructure, when a user or a developer that at the end are the ones that are trying to create value to software, want to get new resources, what happens is that because my on-premise infrastructure is siloed, I need to go to a different process to be able to get resources, right? I need to probably go to a ticketed system, ask for different people to get to have an environment. I need to be working with different people to get that resource, right? There's not this self-service experience that the person can go and get the resources by themselves. So what happens is that because they get frustrated, they cannot get these kind of resources that most of the time are virtual machines, but now they are also, these kind of resources are starting to get also in containers, right? There's something that is evolving, right? People are more and more applications are coming more and more, and is actually according to some the 451 researcher, they most by a couple of years, by 2020, by 2020, actually by 2020 is this research, 95% of the new applications are now built on containers, right? So I need what happens is then, because the users are not getting, or the developers are not getting the resources from their infrastructure on premise, from the IT departments, they go and they try to get from a public cloud, right? They get the resources very quickly, right? But because probably the IT department or the infrastructure department is not the one doing governance or have control of this, we start getting really very people start to get resources from different clouds, from different scenarios. Some people will get resources from the on-premise infrastructure. Some people may go from different clouds, looking for different use cases for different services, right? Because what happens is that, for example, Azure may give me one specific service that is convenient for my application, but then I working on another project and that AWS is the one that gives me this specific service. So at the end, I finish with a lot of my workloads, a lot of my applications running in different clouds, in different infrastructures, and that brings a lot of complexity, right? In complexity because each different cloud have their own tools to manage, right? Their own infrastructure. So I need to learn new skill sets to be able to manage those clouds. I have multiple processes that I need to manage, right? So this is really a kind of complexity that at the end, pretty much all the value that we can get from the cloud, I get really in this messy management problem, right? So at the end, my on-premise infrastructure is lagging, so that's creating a bottleneck. So that really is not helping me, and is the one pushing the people to go to the public cloud to get resources. But then my public cloud is also now completely out of control. I have fragmented security. Bills start to skyrocket because I don't have governance. I don't have control of how people is using the resources. I start getting super high bills. I start getting duplications, right? So all the things that we were aiming to get from cloud now actually are against us, right? So in any case, we have slowdown in my business processes. We are difficult to adapt to the changes. The TCO goes higher, and we are now exposed to more security risk because we don't have really consistency against what we are doing, right? Here is the answer that VMware and Dell Technologies have, right, for this kind of scenarios, that is bringing unification and standardization, right, through VMware Cloud Foundation, right? VMware is, if we look at VMware by pieces, right, in terms of the compute, with vSphere is #1 in market share. I think it's something that is pretty well known, is around 80% or more of the market share of hypervisor is vSphere, right? And continue being that way. We don't see that changing. On terms of hyperconvergence, when we look at virtualization of the storage, vSAN is #1 software for hyperconvergence, right? NSX for network virtualization is #1 software-defined networking vendor. And when we talk about cloud management platform, how we can provision and manage, charge back my cloud operations, vRealize suite is also #1, right? So VMware Cloud Foundation brings all these components that are not our top in terms of the market, and we put all of that together, right, in a way that is easy to consume, and more importantly, is really brings everything together on a orchestrated fashion, right? So we have a single stack of software, right, with lifecycle management and with intrinsic security that we can run, and that can help me and give me that consistency on how we can consume cloud, right? So, but that's how that will help me, right? If we are going to run on, probably I can run, yes, we can run VMware Cloud Foundation on my data center, but what about the public cloud? Well, VMware have alliances with all major hyperscalers. So the same stack, VMware Cloud Foundation, that we can run on my premises, I can also run on the hyperscaler cloud, right? So the same hypervisor, the same storage virtualization, network virtualization, all the stack and cloud management is running on AWS, on Azure, on GCP, as well as actually, those are the main hyperscaler, but actually there's more than 45,000 different cloud service providers around the world that have already also integrated the VMware stack, right? So using this approach from VMware Cloud Foundation, we can then have a standardization, and using the same software stack that is hardware agnostic because can run on different hardware providers on premise and obviously on different clouds. We can then, following the best practices from VMware that are documented on what is called the VVD or VMware Validated Designs, we can have a common ground for managing and to be able to consume cloud. So when I speak about standardization and well, open interface of hardware providers, right? Obviously, I work for Dell, right? So I will tell you that the best place to run VMware Cloud Foundation on premises will be VxRail, and second, our vSAN Ready nodes, right? But reality being true, there's a full ecosystem of different hardware providers that can also run on ready nodes on your private cloud. And as well as on the public cloud, as mentioned, you can identify the main hyperscalers here, Azure, AWS, GCP, but there's others like Rackspace, NTT, Fujitsu Cloud, and so on, right? So this is really the how, well, a VMware Cloud Foundation is nothing new, right? Actually, it's already a proven technology created by proven different elements, right? We have it's a battle-tested solution, right? More than 500 customers around the world and continuously growing by 62% year over year, right? So I'm gonna pass now to Marta, that she's going to talk to us a little more about how we can start building this VMware Cloud Foundation stack infrastructure.
Okay. Okay, Jose, thank you very much. And I just ask you for the control. Yep.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So the idea with this, the next slide, is to provide you with an idea, not a really deep description of the architecture of VCF. And the important part that all of this is that the same platform, the VCF platform composed for every one of the layers of the data center defined by software, is the same that is running in all of these public cloud offers that Jose mentioned just right now. So in the on-premise, I couldn't get. Okay. So the first principal feature of the VCF solution is that it has their own deployment tool that is totally automated and is the new source of this main infrastructure. So we start with 4 nodes that must be hyperconverged infrastructure nodes, and the automated deployment is installed in this for first node. So we got a lot of information and documentation that illustrate how is deployment and every one of the steps that is going to be prepared to be run in this first step of the installation. So the next step is to deploy the appliance, the Cloud Builder appliance that is going to be like the main controller of all this automated deployment, and is feed by an Excel JSON file that is called a Cloud Builder. So this is another style of installation. You don't need to install the vSphere, install the vSAN, install the NSX. It's just a change of a way of working, and it's just like an automate workload to deploy the first node, and the next steps are to commission and add the next components of the VCF architecture. So this is very, very important because it's the most important part in this building. I mean, in this because I don't know, I can.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Okay. So let me just one back. So this is the logical component that is going to life in the management domain. The SDDC manager, that is the other important part in this infrastructure, in this new concept, and it's exclusive of the BCF concept. It's going to be like the new screen that is going to be able to execute all these automated workloads, to add the new hardware, and to control the lifecycle management. That is one of the main and important part of the BCF concept. So these are the components in the management domain. And as I was telling you, this is the minimum required, that is the four first nodes, and is the first step to all the next component. After the workload domain management is set up and running, the next step is to commission or add the next host that they could be in a workload domain that is exclusive, like a set to run some specific application or some specific hardware requirements, or to be used for a BDI workload domain. And this is part of the development, just commission the host involved in the new inventory of the BCF and attach automatically. You don't need to reconstruct the vSAN cluster or something like that. Just execute an automatic workload to add these workloads. So basically, you can you're going to have a vCenter, an NSX manager. Every workload domain needs a vCenter instance to run in and be able to execute their own policies in every one of the workload domains. So this is, as I was telling you, this is like a super high vision of the architecture, and every question or I mean, every forward explanation that you need, we are really eager to receive your emails, or I think at the end, we're going to have like a question and answer session. And the other, and this is very, very important for the VCS concept, because it's like a operating model, like a cloud. So you don't need to be worried about the hardware and the upgrades and the firmwares and the compatibilities of every one of the components in this new platform. VCF is like a new vSphere. So the upgrades and leveraging the update is going to be controlled by the SDDC manager, and you're not going to need to the compatibility list and check if the one of is the number X compatible with the Y other. And this is a complete vSphere lifecycle manager implementation. This automatic, and it's going to be just like warnings in the DC manager to update, and you could automate this if you got the part of the realized automation. And if not, it's just to be like a program the better time to execute these upgrades. So that's the general vision of the advantage of all this cloud foundation. You're going to finally resolve in a private cloud platform, and more of that, you're going to have the operational view of a public cloud operated in your data center, in your on-premise site. So this is the best way to bring in a automated way the capacity of operate like a private cloud. I mean, in a way of public cloud, automatic provisioning, standardization, simplify all these add-ons, and more important, the lifecycle management is going to be included in all these concepts. So Jose, I think we were talking with Jose, and we want more space for the demo part. That is going to be the next step. So just see the other slides and go to the demo, Jose. So that's yours.
Yeah, thank you, Marta. So yeah, I want to try to go faster with the slides so we can have more time for the demo. I guess the demo, we can discuss whatever is not touched on the slides, right? So I want to continue, right? Thank you, Marta. Like Marta mentioned, we have the management domain and the workload domain, right? But there are some cases that I want to create a VMware Cloud Foundation infrastructure that probably is a small environment, right? So I don't want to have like multiple workloads domain at that point. So I can start what we call a consolidated design, right? It's for smaller environments. And then at some point, we can then migrate to what is called a standard design. The standard design is the one that we have that will have like a management workload domain and multiple workload domains, right? So it's flexible in that regard, right? Obviously, if we're going to run the difference is that in the management workload domain, we are going to have it's going to be dedicated for management infrastructure, all the services that we get, NSX, Realize, and so forth. And when we have a consolidated infrastructure, we are going to have everything together, right? So one is more flexible in terms of growth than the other, especially when we think about going at scale, right? But that doesn't. I can start small and then move to the new one if I want. That's in terms of growth, the way we can deploy VMware Cloud Foundation, right? In terms of the sites that I deploy, right? We have pretty much 4 ways to deploy VMware Cloud Foundation, right? The simpler one being a single site deployment, right? Where we are going to have one single SDDC manager and multiple workload domains. That's like the standard way to deploy VMware Cloud Foundation. We can deploy also on what is called a stretch cluster, right? Stretch cluster is when we have multiple sites. Obviously, there's some requirements in terms of latency and bandwidth that we need between the sites, right? But I can pretty much have a cluster that is running in multiple sites, right? And I can move workloads between the different sites like they were on the scene in the same site. So this is give me a lot of functionality in terms of availability of the workloads, right? This is like the highest level of availability that I can get, right? But we need to consider the latency between the sites that normally need to be less than 10 milliseconds, and I need to have a proper bandwidth. So this normally across on the same campus, across buildings, right? That I can do this kind of stuff normally. But sometimes I want to have I have a smaller sites, branches that I want to have consistency with VMware Cloud Foundation, so we can have a remote site deployment where we have a primary software, VMware Cloud Foundation running on my data center, and I can have on satellites. I can have smaller clusters that work as workload domains for the VMware Cloud Foundation. I manage everything from the data center, right? I have also some requirements in terms of bandwidth and latency between the sites, but are not as aggressive as when I have a stretch cluster. And we have the multi-region deployment. That is when I have probably independent VMware Cloud Foundation deployments, but I want to have like a single pane of glass to be able to interconnect them. Probably I may want also to federate NSX, so I can really I can use one as a failover site for the other, or move workloads between the different sites. That's something that we can do with the multi-region deployment, right? Let's say I already I already deployed my VMware Cloud Foundation, right? So I have my stack, but I have my previous infrastructure, legacy infrastructure that I had, right? How we can use, what technology we can use to help migrating these workloads. That is where ACX comes, right? ACX is a technology that is a mix of multiple technologies that we get from VMware, right? It integrates NSX for be able to virtualize the network and extend my network, right? It also uses vMotion to be able to move workloads live, and it also uses vSphere Replicator, right? So I can, is this a blend of these three technologies? Pretty much what we can do is that we can move a workload from my legacy infrastructure to my new infrastructure. That legacy infrastructure can be as old as vSphere 5.5, and I can move it and transform the upgrade the VMs live without even any kind of downtime to my new infrastructure. Actually, something very interesting is that that is not limited to when I'm running from on-premise infrastructure. Actually, if we are running a VMware Cloud PCF-based infrastructure on a hyperscaler or in the cloud, we can use also ACX to migrate my workloads to the cloud, right? So this is a very strong use case for customers looking to accelerate the movement to the cloud, or they don't want to go through a transformation and downtime. Using ACX, pretty much we can really move the workloads to the cloud, and actually we can move the workload back and forth. Actually, we have freely movement between multiple clouds using this kind of product, right? So I'm gonna be very fast through here. Pretty much we have different ways to migrate with HCX, right? Starting from the more basic migration pieces that we get with HCX Advanced is called migration. That is very simple. In that case, the VMs need to be off, but we can use then HCX by vMotion that is normally one by one. But we move the VM totally live, right? We also have ACX bulk, that is when we migrate bulk of virtual machines. We can actually with ACX migrate hundreds of virtual machines at a time, right? And then we have what we get with ACX Enterprise that is more advanced. We can actually use OS assisted replication, that we get an agent installed on the operating system that helps the migration. And we also have replication assisted vMotion, that is where we can move between we use the replication technology together with vMotion, so we can really move across a very low bandwidths, for example, and migrate bulk of virtual machines, all of them live, right? So it's a very interesting technology, right? I'm going very a high level in this. Actually, is something that is of the interest. We can always speak more about that. Other technology that is fundamental for VMware Cloud Foundation is Tanzu, right? That is how we can run modern applications. Running Kubernetes workloads and containers on VMware Cloud Foundation is one of the main use cases for VMware Cloud Foundation. Why? Because as we are already speaking, we have a cloud-ready infrastructure with all the elements that we require, not just to run virtual machines, but also we can run Kubernetes. If we run Kubernetes on any other infrastructure, pretty much we will have an inconsistent bill of material. We need to bring up everything by hand. And when we speak about bringing stuff by hand, that means that it's prone to error, right? On the VMware Cloud Foundation with the standardized bill of material, we can really accelerate from days or hours to minutes, right? So we can run Kubernetes on top of VMware Cloud Foundation pretty much in two ways, right? We can create what is called Tanzu Kubernetes Grid clusters, right? That is like our cluster VMware Kubernetes cluster running on top of the hypervisor itself, but managed by the hypervisor. Or we can run what is called vSphere pods, that is running Kubernetes containers running directly on the hypervisor, right? So in this model, we are going to have my IT operators working on what they already know, that is a vCenter VMware environment, and we have my developers that will be interacting directly with Kubernetes through the Kubernetes API, or normally through command line using kubectl command line. So the benefits of running Tanzu is we have a consistent upstream compatible implementation of Kubernetes, right? So the Kubernetes that is deployed, when we talk about upstream, is that we don't really make changes on the code, right? The code is completely compliant with Kubernetes, right? So it's something very important. We automate the full process of the life cycle of Kubernetes using a technology called Cluster API, or CAPI, right? And everything is provisioned through vSphere, right? In terms of integration with vRealize, and probably that's something that I'm gonna jump to the demo quickly, is the fact that we can manage the life cycle, complete life cycle of vRealize also through VMware Cloud Foundation, right? If VMware Cloud Foundation deploy a vRealize Lifecycle Manager, right? That is a component of vRealize. And through vRealize Lifecycle Management, we are going to be able to manage the lifecycle of Workspace ONE access, that is the management, the user authentication, authorization tool from vRealize, vRealize Operations, vRealize Log Insight, and vRealize Automation. This is a high level how the infrastructure looks like, right? But all of this is automated, right? So you don't really need to care about all the different elements. The elements are automatically deployed when you deploy VMware Cloud Foundation, right? So to finish, there's the presentation itself, and jump into the demo. You have pretty much two ways to deploy VMware Cloud Foundation. That you can deploy parallel. You can have a side-by-side, like we mentioned, you can deploy a VMware Cloud Foundation, and then you use ACX to migrate to the infrastructure. You may want to go component by component, but the reality is that if you really want to have all the benefits of lifecycle management from VCF, it's really ideal to have to build a stack from greenfield, right, or side-by-side. And the other way is also to consume through the public cloud, right? You can consume through any hyperscaler. You can consume VMware Cloud Foundation. That is what is called VMware Cloud, right? So let's go to the demo. I have like 15 minutes. Okay. So this is the console, or what is called the SDDC manager, right? The SDDC manager is the heart of VMware Cloud Foundation, right? From here, like Marta explained, we first deploy something called a Cloud Builder, and the Cloud Builder deploy pretty much everything, including the SDDC Manager. From that on, we go to the SDDC Manager to manage all the life cycle of my infrastructure, right? When I log into the SDDC Manager, the first thing we will see is this dashboard. That in this dashboard, what we are gonna see is we have multiple solutions that we can deploy, right? In this case, workload management is deployed. Workload management means Kubernetes, right? So I have deployed in this in the infrastructure Kubernetes running on top of VCF, Tanzu Kubernetes Grid. We have the amount of workload domains, right? This is a consolidated environment, right? So we just have what is called a single management domain. This one, we don't have any BI workload domain or workload domain for short, right? We don't have any. So I have a single one where we are running both management and we are running also workloads. As you can see, there's I can see here also a screenshot of how the consumption of my cloud is working. I can see the CPU consumption, memory, and also storage, right? I can see also the size of my workload domain. In this case, is all flash, right? We have 4 nodes running here, right? And I can see also some of the recent tasks, right? What is the last thing that we done, right? We have some update. This VMware Cloud Foundation is running version 4.3. Actually, 2 weeks ago was launched 4.3.1. I am pending to update it to that version, right? I initially deployed on 4.2 and I did an upgrade to 4.3 from the SDDC Manager, right? So if I come here to the inventory, to the workload domains, again, I'm gonna see now the information for my workload domain that is called NOLA BCF02. As I explained, this is a management workload domain, right? And I can see from here, from started, that I have updates available, right? So I can update, it's telling me that I can update to 4.3.1, that I need to do it. From here, I can see the summary of what I have deployed, right? I have I have my information from NSX. I have my IP address for my NSX controller, right? And I can see also the amount of edge clusters. That is a component for NSX. That is the one that gives me access to the physical network, right? If I want, I can actually click here and I can go to the NSXT control manager, right? I have also information about the storage piece. In this case, I don't remember if Marta explained that piece. The management workload domain need to be by force vSAN, right? Right. So need to be vSAN storage. So actually, I have a vSAN storage here. This infrastructure, actually, I forgot to mention, is also on top of VxRail, right? So I have my VxRail vSAN data store here. I could have other kind of storage, but not for the management workload domain. I can have BMFS or Vivo if I had running a workload domain, a different workload, a separate workload domain, not the management, right? So in this case, I have that. And also we have deployed something called AVN, that is the application virtual networks. This is these are segments of NSXT that are pre-provisioned from VCF that are something required if I want to deploy vRealize, right? If you want to deploy vRealize and the management, the lifecycle management of vRealize being managed by VMware Cloud Foundation, I need to deploy these application virtual networks that at the end are, again, they are network segments automatically created during the bring up process using NSXT, right? From here, I can see I actually have deployed everything, all the services that I could deploy with VMware Cloud Foundation. I have those deployed, right? I have the vCenter here. I have the Workspace ONE access. I have vRealize Log Insight, vRealize Operations, vRealize Automation, vRealize Lifecycle Manager, and NSXT, right? So I can have, actually, I can click here and go to directly to that service to manage. This is, I would say, one of the more important, if not more important piece of the SDDC manager, that is the ability to update my infrastructure, right, with a single button, right? I can do a pre-check first, but I'm not going to do it because it will take a couple of minutes and I don't think that's very interesting. But I can do a pre-check, and after doing the pre-check, I will be able to, well, actually can go straight without doing the pre-check, right? These are best practice to do a pre-check, and then I can go here and actually upgrade, right? So I already downloaded the bundle for 4.3.1. I could just go here and do the schedule the update for a convenient time, or update the thing now, right? Here I can see the independent versions that I have deployed, right? So what my SDDC manager, what is with my version of vCenter, my version of all the different elements. This is the version of VxRail that I have deployed, that is 70202, right? And the NSX, all the different elements, right? So I can have what it, I can know what are the independent versions. Normally there's a bill of material associated with this version, right? So everything goes together. That's part of the value of VCF, right? That we have the full stack proven, right? This is the updates that I have done in the past, right? I did the last update on the 21 of September that I deployed 4.3, and then soon very fast came the the 4.31. I can see here the independent hosts. I can see they have the 4 hosts, the VX host 5 to 7. I could go here and see the details of each of the hosts independently. What are the networks? What is the model? This is a Dell VxRail E65F. What is the capacity? What is the version? All of that, right? I could go here and connect directly to the host, right? So what else? In terms of the edge cluster for NSX, I can also have the information here for my NSX edge clusters. And here I can see the security, right? Actually, for something that sometimes is very difficult day 2, right? There are some certificates that expire 10 years after deployed, but there are other, for example, the vCenter certificate that the expiration is today, 2 years. I can from here actually manage all my certificates. Other thing that I can manage as well in terms of security from here is the passwords, right? I can manage the passwords and I can auto rotate the password. For example, the root password of my ESXi host, I can actually schedule for auto rotate the password, right? So I can actually all the different elements of that are piece of VMware Cloud Foundation. I can manage the password from here, and I can assign passwords, and actually at VMware Cloud Foundation can auto assign password and manage the password for me. It can also manage the licensing. Actually have some licenses expire here. I need to update them. This is a demo environment, sorry. From normally I need to configure my repositories, right? In this case, this is because this is a VMware Cloud Foundation running on VxRail. actually we need to have a My VMware account as well as a Dell account, right? Because from the SDC manager, we are gonna be updating both the software, the VMware software stack, as well as the Dell VxRail software stack, right? For everything from SDC manager in this case, right? So that's why we need a credential for both. And from here, we are gonna be able to then download the bundles as they come, and then we can apply and update through the lifecycle manager, right? On time. Okay. We can also, I guess, I don't know if you have, I'm gonna finish, right, to see if there are some questions. The last piece I wanted to share very quickly is the ability that we have from VMware Cloud Foundation also for extensibility, right? We can actually, from here, we can see the documentation of the APIs, right? We can use APIs to automate different processes, right? Actually, we can run API calls straight from here. Obviously, this is really for testing, and you have this alarm here that telling you that you are running APIs versus a production environment, right? So normally what I do here just for testing is, for example, doing I can get a get commands, right? So I can get information from the host, for example. I can do a get API call here, execute, and this will bring me information of my 4 hosts, right? Obviously, this is not really something that you can do a lot from here. No, probably you could run a different kind of posts, then you will replay, you will do changes, right? But normally the idea of the API at the end is to write code that you can execute and automate stuff, right? So for example, here you can see some examples of code, in this case specifically for VxRail. For example, creation of a VCF on VxRail stretch cluster. Actually, there's a Python script here that can run, and I could automate running using the VCF APIs and actually automate configurations this way, right? So I think that's it, right? I don't know, there's some questions there on the chat. Somebody want to do a question live?
All right. Are there any questions? I'm seeing some questions in the Q&A, but those have been answered already. So if you have a question, you can raise your hand and we can take those questions. All right, Jose, let me share up my screen.
Sure.
In the meantime, I'm doing that. I just want to say a big thank you, Jose and Marta, for that presentation. VCF is looking very interesting, and I definitely will be reaching out to you guys for some more information. This looks like something we definitely can get some benefit from. All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, so we will move to the next part of our presentation for the evening. Rudy?
Oh, this section. All right, so thank you very much, Martha and Jose. I believe that the presentation was well received. For me, I learned a lot a while ago just now. It was pretty good. I really liked the demo. Everything seems so seamless and easy to just access everything from that one platform. I think it's really good. As Roosevelt said, we can see some benefit there and we're reaching out to you guys. So thank you again. So for this portion, I hope everyone was listening, because you have no questions. That means that whatever I ask you, you should be able to answer, because everything from Martha and Jose was clear. All right, so for this portion, we have our sponsor here who gave us some lovely Amazon gift certificates for our winners. So the rules are, we have to opt into this process. So if you do decide to participate in this section, that means that Adistech will be reaching out to you for you to claim your prize. So that's 1. 2, you can only win 1 time. 3, we're gonna put the answers in the chat. And for panelists are not allowed to answer any questions. So we can't get anything, okay? So it's all for our guests who have taken the time to come to our session. So first question. Wheel of Fortune, spin it. Ooh. All right, so question 1. Who's going to give me some background music? Tin, tin, tin. What are the VCF deployment models when considering the amount of sites? Is it A, B, or C? Okay, the first person in the chat to answer will win. So
Remember, first person in the chat wins.
I wonder if I can try. I almost say I can't win, but I could try. Nobody don't want to win. Oh, somebody said B, somebody said B, somebody said A, or who was the first person? Who win? Who win?
First answer came in is from Max
Robotham. Okay,
and
so
that
Max.
answer is correct.
It is single site, stretch cluster, remote site, and multi-region. So Max, great. Good job. You're a winner today. Question 2.
Yes, question.
All right, question 2. What is the open source technology that is used with Tanzu Kubernetes grid for a life cycle of clusters?
Okay, so we have a winner, Ansel Mohammed. Answer is A, cluster API, and we have a winner already. So I guess you're listening.
Yes. I was thinking
Well
we're going to
done.
take a little time. They're really on it today. All right, so everything cleared, ready for the next one. I'll give it some time. Make sure nobody's trying to put in any answers just yet. All right, okay, clear. Question 3, what are the vRealized products that can be provisioned and lifecycle with VCF? Oh, so who's that first? Benjamin. Oh. Okay, is that Benjamin? Yeah, Benjamin put in an answer first. I see.
No, I'm not seeing any answers.
Yeah, man, I'm seeing Benjamin had put in something. Yeah, tried to answer the first one, and he was the first person to put in the answer for this question 3.
And did you get the correct answer?
Yeah, man, he had put A first, but that was for the previous question, because that was the last thing that was on the chat that I had seen.
Okay, so
he
we have a winner.
Yep, it's Benjamin. Let me see if I can say the rest of his name. All right, Benjamin. Okay, Zabaleta. If it's not correct, forgive me.
All right,
All
so
right.
you have winners for all 3 questions. Thanks for
Yeah.
trying. Thanks for sharing. I see some other people trying, but guess you're not fast enough. But sure you join us next time.
Next
we will have some more
time.
prizes again. All right.
All right, so congratulations to our winners. As I said, Adistech will be reaching out to you. We'll be needing we should be able to pull it from the registration. The email address is correct. Yeah, we should be able to pull that from registration.
Yes, we should be able to.
Okay. All right, so Tatiana.
Yeah, so thank you so much and congratulations to our winners. A little bit about our sponsor today. A special shout out to Nigel, who's on this webinar today, who helped us get you guys prizes. So a little bit about our sponsor. Adistech is the leader of added distribution for Latin America and the Caribbean. They were established in 2002, and they bring IT solutions for 100% through resellers. So they have a professional team specialized in data center and security, and they bring a lot of business partners to different portfolio of leading brands, including VMware, of course, the best of all of them. So thanks again, Adistech, for your sponsorship today, and congratulations to those winners. Thank you so much for staying until the end. Rudi-Ann?
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks. And I would like to say again, thank you, Adistech. You have joined us again, and the prizes, I'm sure, are well received by the winners. So thanks for joining us. Remember, you can reach out to us on the Jamaica VMUG community platform, as well as social media. We have YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye until next time. Remember,
Thank
sign
you,
up.
Iman.
Sign up,
Bye.
become members.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mug, don't forget.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.